12. Okay, so David is defending Israel from all the bad guys around him. There's still some remnants of Saul's family that are kind of giving him a little hard time, but not so much now. Now he's taken Jonathan's son in. We heard about that the last time we were in Samuel and Chronicles, which is kind of a cool story. I love that. All right, so here we go. This is day 133, Blue Letter Bible app, Bible in a Year, 2 Samuel 11 and 12. And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when the kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab his servant with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. And David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass that in the evening tide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself. And this woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent his messengers and took her. And she came in unto him, and he lay with her. For she was purified from her uncleanness. And she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. And David sent unto Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him, How did Joab and the people did? And how did the war prosper? And David said to Uriah, Go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house there and followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down to his house, David said unto Uriah, Camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst not go down unto thy house? And Uriah said unto David, The ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall then I go to my house to eat, to drink, to lie with my wife? As thou livest, as thy soul livest, I will not do this thing. And David said to Uriah, Tarry, I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. Okay. When the mighty men of valor, David's men, were there to defend Israel, they would be sanctified 3 days. They would not know their wives for 3 days before the Sabbath. That way, if they get attacked on the Sabbath day, they would be okay to fight. That's why they were able to eat the showbread, because they knew not their wives for 3 days. Exodus 19, after he offers them the covenant, and they accept, he says, Go get yourself cleaned up. Get sanctified for 3 days. Know not your wives. That's the key of David, folks. The key of David. That's why they could eat the showbread. Revelation 3. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write these things. Saith he is holy, and he is true, and he hath the key of David. He that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. Every church seems to think that they're the church of Philadelphia. Have you ever heard what the key of David was? They get sanctified 3 days before the Sabbath. Do you keep the Sabbath day holy? Do you remember it? Isaiah 56, folks. Isaiah 56. Sabbath day. Keep it. Remember the Sabbath day. Deuteronomy 5. Guard the Sabbath day. And when David had called him to eat and drink before him, he made him drunk, and even when he went out on his bed, his servants of the Lord went not down to his house. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, Sent ye Uriah forefront in the hottest battle, and retire him from him, that he may be smitten and die. And it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, he assigned Uriah to the place where he knew that the valiant men were. And the men of the city went out, and they fought with Joab. And then some of the people of the servant of David and Uriah the Hittite died also. And Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, When thou hast made the end of telling me the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, Wherefore they approached ye so nigh unto the city? When did ye fight? Knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech and the son of Jerubbeth? Not a woman cast a piece of millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in the Bez. Why then ye went nigh to the wall, say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messengers went and came and showed David, and that Joab had sent for. And the messenger said unto David, Surely the men prevailed against us, and came out unto us in the field. And we were upon them even into the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from the wall, and upon thy servants and some of the king's servants be dead. And thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. And David said unto the messenger, Thus shalt thou say unto Joab, Let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage thou him. When the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. And then when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done had displeased Jehovah. And Jehovah sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him, and he said unto him, There were 2 men, one in the city, one rich and one poor. One rich and one poor. There was David, and there was Uriah. But the poor man had nothing save one ewe lamb, which he had brought, nourished up, and grew it together with him, with his children. It did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And it came a traveler of the rich man, and he spared to take his own flock of his own herd to dress, for the wayfaring man was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was great, kindled against the man. And he said to Nathan, As Jehovah hath liveth, the man that has done this thing shall surely die. He shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, Thou art the man. Thus saith Jehovah, God of Israel, anointed thee king over Israel. I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul, and I gave thee my master's house and my master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee house of Israel unto Judah, that if it had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such things. Therefore hast thou despised the commandment of Jehovah, to do evil in his sight. Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite by the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Therefore the sword shall never depart thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus say Jehovah, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thy own house, and I will take thy wives before thy eyes, and I will give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel, before the sun. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against Jehovah. And Nathan said unto David, Jehovah hath put away thy sin, thou surely shalt not die. Howbeit, because this deed thou hast given me great occasion to thy enemies of Jehovah, to blaspheme the children that is also born to thee shall surely die. And Nathan departed unto his house, and Jehovah struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. Therefore besought God for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither would he eat bread with them. It came to pass on the seventh day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead, for they said, Behold thy wife. Behold, while the children was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will then we vex himself if we tell him the child is dead? But when David saw his servants whispered, David perceived the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead. David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of Jehovah and worshipped. And he came to his own house. When he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, What thing is thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive, but when it was dead, thou didst arise and eat bread. And he said, While the children was yet alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, Who can tell whether God will be gracious to me, that the child may live? But now he is dead. Therefore, should I fast? Can I bring him back again? Shall I go to him, but he shall not return to me? David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and he called him Samuel, and Jehovah loved him. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called the name of Jedediah because of Jehovah. And Joab fought against Rabbah, the children of Ammon, and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters. Now, therefore, gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and be called after my name. David gathered all the people together, and they went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. He took their king's crown from off his head, and the weight of there was a talent of gold and precious stones, and he set it on David's head, and he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. He brought forth the people that were therein, and them under the saws, and under the harrows of iron, and under the axes of iron, and made them pass through the brick kiln. And they did all into the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. All right, now we are going to First Chronicles 20, and it'll be the same story, but told in Chronicles. Sometimes there's little differences, and those little differences are sometimes like, whoa, really? Maybe I just didn't hear it the first time. I read this Bible a whole bunch and didn't hear nothing, like years and years and years. Then I became more obedient, step by step. Romans 1 calls it faith to faith. One little step of faith, then you get more faith, and you go, oh, wow. Then you take your next step in faith. And you're given these talents. Talents, these prosperity preachers talk about talents as like investing here and there. And guess what? Those talents are understanding the word, and then you share that. It came to pass that after the year was expired, this is 1 Chronicles 20. After the year was expired, at the time the kings go out to battle, Joab led forth the power of the army and went in the wasted of the country and the children of Ammon, and came besieged Rabbah, and David tarried to them in Jerusalem. And Joab smote Rabbah and destroyed it. And David took the crown of their king from his head and found it a weighted talent of gold, and there were precious stones in it, and set upon David's head. And he brought also exceeding much spoil out of the city. And he brought out the people that were in it, and cut them with saws, and with harrows, and iron, and with axes. Even so dwelt all the cities of the children of Ammon. And David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass after this, that there arose a war at Gezer with the Philistines, at which Shebeshai the Hishite slew Sippai. Then there was of the children of the giant, and they were subdued. And there was a war then with the Philistines, and Elan, and the son of Jair slew Lamni, the brother of Goliath the Gittite, whose staff was like a weaver's beam. And yet again there was war at Gath, and there was a man of great statures, whose fingers and toes were 26 on each hand. Were 26 on each hand, and 6 on each foot. He also was the son of the giant, a freak. But when he defeated Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimei, David's brother, slew him. But when he defied Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimei, David's brother, slew him. And these were born unto the giants in Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. Yeah, so that's a totally different take on it. We just go right to the battle stories in Chronicles. You know what? The book of Kings kind of tells the bad things. Chronicles kind of whitewashes stuff a bit. That's the deal. All right. I love you guys. Yeah. This isn't that wild? So we got one guy knows. Alicia Berra. Yeah, so Alicia Berra. Yeah, so we got the little whitewashed story in Chronicles. Earlier in the video, I also went back and told about why Uriah would not go into his wife when he met up with David. It's good because it's about the key of David, that the Church of Philadelphia has. Okay, and that's why they're able to eat the showbread. Okay, so it's a key of David, man. Everybody wants to be the Church of Philadelphia, right? Yeah, his servants. The ones that get a good report. You can't be that without that key of David. I love you guys. No, it was the showbread in the temple. The showbread that they put into the temple every week. And they were able to eat it because they were sanctified. That's back in, I think, 1 Samuel 14. Yeshua tells us to go find what this meaneth. And that's Matthew 12. He also says that in Matthew 9. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Go find out what this meaneth. Well, that's Hosea, the book of Hosea 6, verse 6. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. The knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. They, like men, have transgressed the covenant and dealt treacherously with me. Now, the knowledge of God, we find Hosea talks about that extensively in Hosea 4. So if you read about Hosea 6, the knowledge of God, you're going to automatically, if you know the book of Hosea, you're going to say, oh, well, that's Hosea 4. So then you go back to Hosea 4, and you're like, what are they talking about, this knowledge of God? So you go to Hosea 4. And this is what Yeshua says, go find out what they meaneth. Isn't that wild? Oh, you got to get ready for school. All right, see you later. Okay, but I will just read this and it'll be there. It says, this is the knowledge of God. For my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. Thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, not the book of the law of thy God, the 10 Commandments. I will also forget thy children. Yikes, 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 and double yikes. Okay, that's it, folks. I love you.